show, and today we have Suyash with us. He heads the supplement team. He is a very brilliant functional nutritionist and health coach, and basically he is involved into almost every supplement formation and packaging and everything. Basically, he's a mastermind of our supplement team. Okay, and today he is with us for this live show. So welcome, Suyash, to today's live show.
Visible. Yeah, yeah, I think now I am. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Manisha, for welcoming me. And I'll try my best to enlighten you all on what my experience have been personally on this topic, and of course, what we have dealt with clients. And I'll try to give my best possible information on that.
Yeah.
Yes, looking forward
So,
to that.
yeah, I think constipation is something which is very common in everywhere. Every person is experiencing bowel problems, right?
Constipation is very common problem, and some statistics which I have read about says 90 to 95% of the world's population suffer from it. And that sounds like a pretty safe assessment, because on the
Hmm.
observations which we have seen with our clients, and the kind of gut issues which we are seeing with our clients nowadays, 8 to 9 people out of 10 suffer some kind of issues with constipation or any kind of digestive issues.
Yeah, yeah. So, according to many people, constipation definition is that if they are not clearing their stomach in like twice or thrice in a week. But can you just enlighten our viewers that what is the exact definition of a
Yeah.
constipation?
So that's the definition, given by WHO, and that is the definition which is written in medical guide and textbooks and everywhere. But ideally, if you look from an angle of a holistic nutrition or functional nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
you should be having at least one bowel movement per day, and feel as though you had a complete elimination. That sense needs
Okay.
to be there. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that is number one thing. And then there are certain characteristics of an optimal poop, right? We have optimal ranges for all the parameters as well, right? So there are certain
Okay.
characteristics for an optimal poop as well. Number
Oh.
one, it should be light brown in color. Okay.
Okay.
Number two, it should be very easy to pass. Number three, it should be smelling, it should have a earthy smell, and it should not be it should not smelling like it will put you off when you enter a toilet or washroom. Fourth, it should be well formed and it should be floating. So these are 4 to 5 perfect characteristics of an optimal poop, which you need to look for if you're finding any issues with your bowel movements, or any problems regarding that.
So can these parameters which you mentioned about the consistency, the color, the odor, can these be listed as a checklist to understand whether you are experiencing the constipation problem or not?
Yes, yes, definitely. Like as I said, because these are characteristics. Number one. Secondly, you also need to look for symptoms, right? What can be certain symptoms of not having a good bowel movement per day, right? We
Okay.
all know, right? Sometimes when we don't have a good bowel movement, first thing which suffers is our thoughts. Okay, our thoughts
Hmm.
get affected. Then secondly, you don't feel very energetic throughout the day,
Hmm.
because you didn't had that
You
sense of
haven't
complete
passed the
elimination.
stool properly.
Yeah, exactly. And then the third thing is that you feel very stuffed, and you don't feel easy on stomach, right? Your stomach is hard kind of stuff, or it's
Hmm.
bloated, or it will
Hmm.
create gas issues around you. So those symptoms definitely you can look for if you want to see like a checklist, let's say, for example.
And with that, I think the hunger will also get decreased because
Yeah,
the stomach is not getting clear
definitely.
properly.
Yes,
So
yes,
does
yes.
it affect our mind also somewhere or the other?
Yeah, because it's a very fact that your gut act as a second brain, right? Your first brain is a brain within your head, right? The second brain, which is also called as abdominal brain, it has all the nerve endings associated from brain to gut. So definitely, if something is not good at gut, or something is not uh, going well inside your gut or your intestines,
It is
definitely
direct.
it will affect, it will travel your thoughts, it can affect your neurotransmitters, it can affect your thinking. You will be not be able to easily clear your thoughts. You will not have a clarity in your thoughts, or when you're speaking to someone, or when you're expressing something to someone else. So those kind of things, definitely it gets affected whenever you choose to kind of say.
So, I remember yesterday when we were discussing about this topic, you were enlightening us and the whole team, whole nutrition team, with a stool chart, something known
Right.
as Bristol stool chart. So, can you help our viewers with, because most of our viewers are students and, the future functional nutritionists. So, can you just enlighten that? What exactly is this?
Sure, sure. I would also love to, share one of a window, to help you, to see that chart and help you
Oh,
help
okay.
explain
Okay.
audience as well. Just
Great.
give me a moment. Let me just, start sharing my screen. Cool. If you, I've shared my screen, and I think you are able to,
Yeah,
must be
it's
able to see it.
visible.
Cool. So if you
Oh
can
wow!
see here,
These are the stools.
yeah, these are different types of stool, different formation of stools, which I came across this around 3 to 4 years back when I was researching to on constipation. um, it is a modified version of a Bristol stool chart, which is a chart which has been registered in medical community to identify your stool or any issues with a person's bowel movement. Okay. Now, this is a very funny and good characteristic representation of different stool in a way. Like, let's say if you see, here are some gangsters and some smokers who are like represented in a bad physique, because these are the type of stools we need to look for. These are the one who are bad guys. Okay.
Oh,
And just on the right, which is of around 6 inches, this is what I call as poopy policeman. Okay. Now this is something. This is the one which we want as a like, as a part of our healthy bowel movement, right? This is what we have to opt for. So, uh, like I like to put this even even my on my washroom or toilet, to see on day-to-day basis how well you're doing, or if someone is having digestive issues as well. So this is
okay.
something
So basically, it is a chart on which you can.
yes, in
Uh,
which you can easily identify by
yes.
seeing the shape as well as by seeing the formation of the stool as well.
Oh,
Also, it's very important that it should be ideally well formed, and it should be around 6 inches in, let's say, in the dimension as well, at least once a day. With
okay.
that, there should be a complete sense of elimination. I've seen certain times, a lot of people who had even past 8 or 9 inches a day of stool, but they didn't felt any sense of complete elimination, and that that can be easily counted as issue, technically counted as constipation issue as
Yeah.
well.
So, what is the reason that, as you're saying, that you have seen in your practice that people, even though they are passing the stool properly, still they are experiencing that the complete evacuation is not there? What is the reason behind that? What are the root causes which you find?
So there are a lot of root causes which we when we start to inquire client, when we get, but there are certain common root causes which have really come across in almost all the people who are suffering from constipation. Number one, the stress connected to not knowing your purpose, not knowing your existence. If you are not clear on your life purpose, on your dream, what you want to create in this world, definitely there will be some subconscious or unconscious stress on the body, which could be which could be presented in a form of constipation, right? Number one.
Like you said, that there's a proper connection between our gut and brain.
Exactly.
The
So
stresses, the cortisol will keep on increasing in the body. It is going to impact our bowel movement.
yes. See, in the end, if you're not doing what makes you happy, it will simply be stressing you, right? If whatever job you are in, if it's not making you happy, it will simply make you stressed, right? At the end of the day, and then the same, the cortisol cycle, and the fight and flight response will keep on going up and down, and it will create more and more stress on the body, which will affect your gut, which will affect all the other system as well. But yeah, constipation is one of the result of that.
Okay. Are there any digestive problems also in which which can be listed out as a root causes for constipation?
Yeah, so there are, like, if you see, gas, bloating, indigestion, acidity, all of them are connected. But what we've also seen with our clients are that poor lifestyle choices, right?
Hmm.
That diet ratios are not according to their body type or their health goals, right? Right? If they're eating too much of carbohydrates, too much of refined sugar in their diet, too much of processed and packaged foods instead
Hmm.
of whole foods which contains fiber, which contains nutrients. Okay. Then
Yeah.
there is not eating enough fiber, dietary fiber, right, which is
Yeah.
a very very important cause of causing a constipation or irregular bowel movements.
Yeah.
Then is your nutrient deficiency, especially magnesium and omega 3 fatty acids.
Okay.
With omega 3 fatty acids helps to lubricate your intestines. Hence, it helps to move your bowel movements easily, like in the intestines, and assist peristalsis movement.
So
And
what is because omega 3 is very important? Is there in our ancestor used to take ghee at the night time to
yes,
clean their.
exactly. That's a very good point, Manisha, which you mentioned, like ghee, coconut oil. Even I have found a lot of people practicing like 1 to 2 tablespoons
Yeah,
eating
oil
coconut oil in the
milling,
morning,
something like that.
yeah, or before sleeping, right,
Yeah.
as a protein of their regular diet and
Yeah.
lifestyle. So it really helps with lubrication of the intestines, and it helps to remove the dryness associated with your intestines, because if there will be dry, if there will be not enough water, that will be the stool movements will be hard to pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then magnesium plays a very important role there as well. So a mix of magnesium bisglycinate with uh, or even regular magnesium supplement, if you take, that will really help you to have a good bowel movement. So if someone is deficient in magnesium, definitely they can have hard time moving the bowel movements.
Hmm.
Then there is gut dysbiosis, right, which means
Okay.
your imbalance in the good and bad bacteria ratio, right?
Yeah.
If there is too much of bad bacteria or bad pathogens present in your gut and not enough good bacteria, definitely it could be a result of fermentation, a lot of gas being produced, a lot of slow movement of the bowel movement can happen at the same time. Then there is your environment factors, chemical toxins, which
Chemical toxins specifically. The products which we are using for our personal care products, the
yes, personal care,
Colgate.
even in the food, right? If you're not eating organic food, if you're eating more of the time conventional foods, a lot of fertilizers, pesticides,
Hmm.
insecticides
Hmm.
can cause issues with bowel movements.
So I think the one thing what we can do is what we at iTrev also do is we add activated charcoal in our vegetables and fruits,
Right,
and we
right,
soak
to
them. Yeah,
help to remove.
yeah,
And we try to make sure that they are going for organic. But if you
yeah,
cannot go for
yeah.
organic for certain reasons, then definitely doing that practice is always suggested before consuming that stuff, right?
Okay. One
Uh,
thing I would like to know here, Suresh, is that so constipation is a medical concern, right? What
right.
exactly happens in our intestine because of which the stool gets so hard? What is the mechanism, if you can, just enlighten on that?
So there are, as I said, there are different causes and mechanism to it, but very very common mechanism you can say is dryness in the intestines, right? If
Okay.
there is not enough water, okay, in
Okay.
the bowel movements, or if there is not enough fiber, because fiber tends to hold water, right? If there's not enough fiber, the stools will not be bulky, and if the stools will not be bulky, there will be not enough good peristalsis movement happening. Okay, so
Hmm.
fiber act like a weights for
Wait.
your intestines, right? It helps to strengthen your intestines, and
Hmm.
that's the reason it activates peristalsis movement. It helps to push your bowel movements through the day.
And water helps in the movement part.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where, if you see a lot of patients who are recovering from surgery,
Hmm.
when they are not eating for a day or so, and then they started with liquid diet, you must have seen in
Yeah.
the clinical nutrition point
Yeah.
that they suffer from constipation, or they have hard time regulating the bowel movements because there's not enough fiber of food in the gut.
Yeah.
So that's one of the very very important cause. Secondary, if, as I said, stress. If the moment you are in stress, your body's blood circulation goes into your limbs, right? Your upper and
Hmm.
lower limbs, your
Hmm.
blood flow goes outwards instead of focusing on the organs. Hence your digestion is not proper, your peristalsis movement doesn't happen in that case, and then you're just you're repressing your emotions, then you're just repressing everything which you're putting inside,
And
right?
I
It
think if
just
your bowel movement will not happen, you will get more and more irritated because when your stomach is not
exactly.
clear, you're not able to do it anything.
Exactly, that's where the thoughts things comes in, right? You feel the way you are inside, right? If you're not clean inside, clean and clear inside, you will not be clean and clear in your thinking,
Your mind.
definitely, right?
Yeah. So
And
one,
then there are
yeah.
also side effects of medicines, not to mention that a lot of
Oh,
medications
yes.
have side effects of constipation, right? I often used to, when in my initial practice days, I often used to not focus on that. But then more and more case started coming in, and I was doing everything, and I was still finding that there are person is having constipation. Then I started to see medication side effects, and that's where I recognized that okay, certain medication have
Yes,
side effects
even
of
I have
constipation.
seen when it comes to medication is that in my previous practice, I used to say that people are taking laxatives too much. So I think too much laxative also cause constipation. This was my finding.
Yes, too much laxative. How does it cause constipation? In a similar manner, it overworks your intestine muscles. Now, if anything, what is overworking needs to relax at a certain period of time. So, what happens used to in laxative is that they start to stimulate vessels movements. People often go one or twice in a day for a certain period of time, and then a period comes where all the intestine muscles get tired and they need to just rest and relax, and then it follows with the constipation, right? Which is not a great idea, right? And laxative also makes you dependent on them, right?
Yeah.
Even if you leave laxatives or if you don't take laxative a certain day, you will not
I
clear your
think the
bowel
body
movement.
gets dependent on laxative so much that they forget its own way of passing the stool.
Exactly, exactly, and that's why that can it is good for short term if you want to really help with your chronic constipation, but it should never be as a long term practice or
So is there any method if by chance our any person is not able to clear the stomach because of the dietary changes, with not able to clear the stomach with laxative also, what is the end stage treatment for passing the stool?
so see, if you're doing everything, if you've corrected your dietary stuff, environment, if you're taking supplements, if you are taking certain herbs which help with constipation, even after doing all of that stuff, and if you're a very very chronic case of constipation, like I've seen certain people who had 6 to 7 days of going without bowel movements, and they were having a hard time with that as well. So
Hmm.
in them, definitely we used to provide external help with the
Tools.
tools. So that is one of the things which I've worked is coffee enemas. Okay,
Okay.
but we'll discuss this at the end as well. The like how that works, and how things goes around that, because it requires a monitoring, a guided practitioner to help you with that stuff. So you cannot do
Okay.
alone, right? So how
Okay.
much and
Yeah.
what type of coffee
It's
enema
usually done in hospitals, right?
exactly. So we need to even when you suggest coffee enema, they don't know which coffee enema to go for, because there are a lot of different type of coffee enemas comes, right? And if you are going for a wrong coffee enema, it can mess up instead of making it
Oh,
better,
okay.
right? So
Okay.
those are things like I'll just give you a brief on the last time, what to look
Hmm.
for and what are its advantages.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, one thing I'd like to know,
hmm,
like, for usually most of the diseases, we go for the blood test, and we find the root cause with the help of interpreting that blood
right,
test.
right,
But this is a stool probe. Right? This is not something which is happening
right,
like a fever or a flu. This
right,
is
right.
stool probe. So, do we have any test for this also?
Yes, definitely. Because the way we are, evolving, the way we are researching and developing day by day, we are
Mhm.
having a lot of bringing on a lot of advanced tests as well. Okay,
Okay.
so there is one test called as GMAP test. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so GMAP we use for a lot of our clients, as you must be knowing as well, right? So
Mm.
GMAP ideally uses qPCR technology, which quantifies whatever pathogen is inside your body. It gives you a good idea of how your gut microbiome is, what kind of pathogens your gut has. It gives you a good map around that, and it also helps you identify how well the balance of them it is, right? So once you know that balance of pathogens, you can work by providing them good pathogens whatever are absent in the gut, and
The
then
most,
it
most of the time, it tells what are the good bacteria, what are the bad bacteria, what are the overgrowth of bad, and everything.
yes, what are the opportunistic microorganisms growing and are because behind constipation or any other digestive issues.
Hmm.
And then it also gives you a good indication of your secretory IgA immunoglobulins, which also gives you idea about how well your immune system in the gut is, your antibodies in the gut is, right? And then it also gives you an idea about your if you have a leaky gut issue or not, or if you are more prone towards any kind of allergic reactions or not, or if your gut has small holes which can leak the food particles inside the blood and can create autoimmune issues or not. So it gives you good enough in-depth information and data about your gut. We definitely use this advanced test for a lot of people who has gut issues from long period of time, right? And when we see the blood work, when we see infections, when we see other things, we definitely ask them to do the GMF test to know more about it, so that we can have a targeted customized approach towards them.
Okay. So one thing, as you were telling us about all these root causes, like you just mentioned about a disease known as leaky gut. So how
Right.
leaky gut leads to this constipation? Is there any connection?
So ideally, see leaky gut. causes other things, right? Leaky gut doesn't cause your directly constipation. Constipation is, it will act as a symptom.
Oh,
It's a superficial symptom which indicates what are the certain root causes which are messing up the body system. So leaky gut is responsible for other issues like autoimmune issues, allergies, fatigue, which all of them can lead to make them constipated,
so
right?
constipation can be a symptom of those disease which is having because of leaky gut.
Exactly, exactly. Constipation is always a symptom. We need to really look beneath it, that what exactly is causing it. It could be n number of factors, as I said, but there are certain common causes which we discussed already, right? Which we need to focus on.
Okay, so as you just told about this advanced test, so you were constantly telling that the dietary change is very much important, the lifestyle change is very much
Right,
important. You have to take care of your carb intake, you have to take care of the soluble and insoluble intake. Fruits are very much important, if your soluble and insoluble fiber intake is not good, you can start experiencing the irregular or improper evacuation of your stools. But apart from these, as you were mentioning, that magnesium is very good. Is there any other
right.
supplement which can be suggested to the clients?
So, see, when we talk about nutrients, magnesium works really well, right? So, magnesium bisglycinate is one of the form which helps with constipation. Certain times, people who have chronic constipation, where magnesium bisglycinate doesn't help, we give a mix of magnesium bisglycinate with citrate, because
Separate.
magnesium citrate specifically is used to regulate bowel movements. We give a mix of it so that glycinate will help to absorb magnesium better, and magnesium citrate will help to regulate bowel movements. Okay,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
so giving that mix of that will really help. Besides that, there are herbs which helps with constipation. Number one being dandelion root. Dandelion root stimulates your bile through liver. In
Okay.
that process, it also helps to improve bowel movement. And so, what we have seen in our practice is, whenever a person is having mild constipation or constipation issues, dandelion root tea or dandelion root as a supplement really helps them to
Do you
eradicate
take
that.
it in a form of a tea also? You can take it in a form of a supplement also.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And then there is another our Ayurvedic combination of three herbs, which is also called as Triphala, right?
Yes.
So
I think
Triphala,
that is known by everyone.
yeah, but there is a certain physiology behind that as well. So let me just tell you that, right? So there are three herbs, right? Amla, Harad, and Baheda.
Yes.
So in that, Harad has this very good laxative astringent property, which helps to provide a diuretic and a laxative effect to the bowel movement, and that's the reason it all of them three works together. Amla gives you vitamin C, which helps to improve your bowel water retention. Secondly, Harad gives you a laxative effect, and Baheda helps to regulate that stuff, right?
So
So
basically, Hareda and the Harad is the main thing.
yes, component of that, right? So
Component.
which gives you that laxative effect. And
Hmm.
then we also give psyllium husk, right, to a lot of people as a form
Yeah,
of,
so I have a question for Celium Husk. I
right.
think Celium Husk might be people not aware about the other name is isabgol, right?
Yeah.
So I have seen in my previous practice, not in the current practice, that if too much Celium Husk is also, a person is taking too much Celium Husk for like on a daily basis, if he or she is taking, it starts affecting the gut irritation. So is it the Celium Husk which is a culprit, or the quality of the cerium husk that is taken is the culprit?
See, Manisha, I have experienced this personally as well. So when I was having, 7 to 8 years, I was also going through, digestive issues and especially constipation. At
Oh,
that time, because I was learning about all of these stuff, I got obsessed with fiber. I thought that fiber is everything, key to, crack constipation and, make sure that my bowel
and
movements
I
are
think in
working regularly.
college also we have heard that insoluble fiber is very much important.
Right. But in that case, what I used to do was, I used to have like a lot of fiber, lot of excessive fiber, I'll say, as per as I needed, right?
Okay.
So then again, excessive fiber will act as a stress for your intestines as well, right? So your intestines will, it will be hard for them to process it and then bulk it. It is similar to a person who doesn't have that habit of working out and then goes to the gym and lift a lot of weights together at
Then
at
sit
a
for
first day. and then they get exhausted, and then not the person is not showing up for next 4 days, right? So it is similar to that, right? So if you are giving excessive fiber at the point where your intestines are not have a habit to handle, it can lead to again constipation, because it
So
will
I
take time
think
for that to process.
if it is good for your health, but yes, if it is taken in a very excess amount, it
So we need
can.
to add slowly, fiber, right? Not again, that's again a key.
So,
So
are there any different type of type of celium husk, or is just one? Like we see in the nutrients, like there are
hmm.
some nutrients which are in a bioavailable form. One, some of them are not. So, something like this is there for the celium
I
husk.
to have come across only one celium husk. I have not come across there any type of exist or not. But I think that it's sold only through the one, the name of celium husk, because celium husk is anyhow derived from the food itself, right?
Okay, okay. So now we have we have talked about the nutrients, we have talked about the reason why constipation is happening. But what I think is that with your food intake, with your lifestyle thing, everything, I think physical activity plays a very major role.
Yes, definitely.
Sedentary lifestyle nowadays is actually the reason why every third person is experiencing constipation.
Right, right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So your physical activity, as you mentioned correctly, plays very important critical role.
Mhm.
If you are, the same rule applies to it, right? If you are excessive working out, or if you're not working out at all, cause the same thing, right? A good movement is needed for a healthy bowel movement, right? The reason being, it again activates something called as transfer abdominis, which is your muscles at the core, as the stomach
Okay.
muscle, your TVA, transfer abdominis. Your transfer abdominis is responsible for giving a good peristaltic movement to your intestines, right? So
Okay.
it is similar to the position when we, let's say, when we're lifting some weight, but when we are pulling the transfer abdominis to support our spine, right? When we're pulling the stomach in, the
Hmm.
muscles involved, that is transfer abdominis. So that really helps with improving your peristaltic movement and constipation. So whenever you're doing any kind of physical activity, there will be certain movement, there will be improved blood circulation, there will be like everything in the body which is clogged up will be moving. In
Oh.
that similar case, the passage movement will also get better, right?
Hmm.
And that will help with constipation as well. Now, there was a very good finding which I did, again, as I said, 7 to 8 years, when I was finding that why people nowadays are increasing constipation. As you said, one thing is that we are increasing sedentary lifestyle, right? That's one of
Hmm.
the reasons. Secondly, the moment from when we have switched from Indian toilets to Western toilets, that
Yes.
has also started to make difference in bowel movements. The reason being, there is something called as puborectalis muscle, which is also called as the muscle you used to push your poop out. Okay,
Oh.
what we do is, when we used to squat, when there were used to be Indian toilets, right? It was like the squatting itself used to relax those puborectalis muscles, and helps to push your poop out easily by
Hmm.
strengthening out your colon. So it used to strengthen the colon, and then it used to move it out. So the if you can only notice the difference there, right? The pelvic position changes when you squat and when you're just sitting it. Okay,
Okay.
so as a result, we used to go more easily without less straining, right? And as a result, people nowadays, if they need to, because of that, what they're doing is, because of fashion tolerance, they have to strain more, and
Yes, and that leads to the bursting of the nerves also in that
exactly,
area.
causing piles and fissure, right? Which again has another issue, that's being added. So I to always tell my clients who are having issues with constipation to squat and go for a bowel movement, because that really helps, and that has definitely made a big difference in my life. And after that, I always, whether it's a Western toilet or Indian toilet, I squat and go based on that, right?
So if they don't have any option of Indian toilet, it's great
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
just
it's
squat.
easily possible, because I also don't have an Indian toilet stall, right? Nowadays, in any new homes, you'll not find Indian toilet as a option, right? So you can just simply squat. You can keep a 3 to 4, I say 6 inch of stool just inside your, just besides your legs, and then you can you can just sit in a squat position, or you can. There are certain ways, right? You can just Google, how to squat position on a Western toilet, and then you get some good images, and then you'll be able to, do that, right? Because it's more of showing, right? I cannot show you by just sitting down right here. So when you see that position, then you'll easily able to do that, right? But it's easy, right? Implementing only like that stuff will really help to get
And
your.
I think with the proper bowel movement, it is going to strengthen our knees also.
Yeah, of course, definitely. That's a added effect, right?
Yeah.
Strengthening the knees, strengthening the ankles, strengthening even the pelvic muscles, right? So that will
Yeah.
also something which is the added benefit for that.
That's great. That's great. That is a new learning for me also today.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so I think we are towards the end of the life. So if you can just enlighten us about
yes.
Enema. Yeah.
Yes. So now a lot of people, when I ask them, or when we even used to, like right now at the moment, we are not suggesting a lot of people coffee enemas because it can have certain complication of its own. But before, when I used to suggest coffee enemas, they always used to ask that, okay, why only coffee enema? Why cannot I simple drink coffee and stimulates my intestines and get it out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the main reason why not drinking coffee and why coffee enema is because coffee definitely packs a powerful punch of caffeine, but it also contained a potent dose of few other health promoting compounds like caffeistol, tocopherols, nicotinic acid, and there are certain compounds which helps good give you a good laxative and eliminating effect.
Moving the.
Right. And now this combination of caffeine with antioxidants is better absorbed directly through the intestines. Okay. Rather
Okay.
than when you drink coffee and it passes through the stomach before getting to the intestines, right?
Okay, so our motive is to directly that the thing should be directly going into the intestine
Intestines,
rather than
exactly.
going through the whole digestive part.
Yes, yes. So this changes the delivery method, right? Which can produce some pretty, benefits out of that as well.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to know some benefits, few benefits definitely I can say. But again, as I said, it's a whole vast topic, and we can do a separate live on it. But
Yeah.
just if you want to know certain benefits, it helps to boost level of antioxidants, which is again, which also helps
So
with reducing.
directly they are getting absorbed in your intestine.
Right, right. So you have to put it through the anal region, and then the coffee enema goes inside your intestines, and that's where it get absorbed. And
Hmm.
at after a certain period of time, it again detox by pushing all the toxins as well as all the stools out of the system by bringing the enema, all of the
Yeah.
components of that enema out. So
Okay.
it also has certain like cancer fighting properties, in reducing inflammation properties on it. Also helps with improving digestion and promoting healthy digestive tracts. So there are a lot of nowadays researchers coming out that how coffee enema is helpful. And but again, as I said, it needs to be under guided monitoring and by under a
Yes.
healthcare professional. So
Has to
if
be
you
done under a practitioner. Anyone who's watching the live, please don't start
exactly,
practicing on its own because it is to
uh,
be done under a proper guidance.
because
And
it can lead to certain consequences as well. So what happens certain times is if you don't choose the right coffee enema, there are certain toxins which can easily get absorbed to the intestine and it can cause issues. Like if you're not selecting an organic coffee, of there is high chances that you can be exposed to mold, fungus, and other unnecessary insecticide or pesticide, right? You don't want. So all of that thing needs to be laid down in total process, and then you also need to see how many times and other things. So there are a lot of complications out of it. So that's where a healthcare professional comes in for that. So,
I have another, very. This question will be might be for the youngsters specifically
hmm.
because nowadays I have seen people are smoking and then they have this urge of passing the
Right.
steps. Otherwise,
Right,
they experience the constipation problem and
right.
chronic constipation problem. So, what is the mechanism behind smoking helping them causing poop?
So I will suggest, I will say it is more than psychological than only by it is similar to a lot of people have like have to drink tea and then only they go
Yes,
for
yes,
washroom,
yes,
right?
yes.
So
I think tea, coffee, and
so if you
smoke.
see tea, coffee, and smoke, all three are addictive in nature and can create habit, right? Where we have to depend upon. So that's one of the worst thing which you're doing because you what that signaling is when you smoke, your a lot of good hormones or it gives you a good boost in your brain and by releasing certain good hormones like endorphins, dopamine, and that helps to give again a gut sense of relax that okay I'm relaxed and I can now go better in a better manner, right? But that again is a vicious cycle, right? You're
Okay.
stressing your body, you're putting
Start getting dependent.
chemical toxins in the stuff, and then you're going, right? So that is not a very good idea, right? If you're already in that vicious cycle, which simply means that your smoking not only is affecting your habits but it is also affecting your internal systems. Now your
Hmm.
internal system are depending on it, right? So that is again a very very destructive habit to have, right? So that's where we need to start de-addicting and start it to see what are the things which is causing that, what are the patterns and behaviors we need to work on, right? A lot of mental patterns.
So I have a question for you, Suresh, here regarding the enema you just shared with the audience, so that this kind of a thing going to affect our kidneys.
I am not really sure. I'll have to research about clemifene, because that is something, again, as I said, I have not used at the moment. We only use majorly good quality organic coffee enemas, and again, like, as I said, I'll have to search, and specifically I'll also have to check what kidney issues of the person has, right. If the person's kidney profile is not good, right, as we see the kidney parameters, right, if that's affected, then definitely the detoxification system will not work.
So
So there's again another this thing, right. If you are doing coffee enema before working on your diet, lifestyle, other detoxification techniques and things which we do, again, you're simply not giving the body the time to detox and time to heal through it, right. You're just using, again, a aided tool, right, which we don't want to depend upon, right.
yeah,
First we need to work on our habit, lifestyle, food, supplements, other things.
this is
That
a secondary or the tertiary thing on which you have to be, in your dreams only you have to be dependent. Otherwise, it will. The best thing is to work on your lifestyle, to work on your life.
ideally, yes,
Ideal
so
approach
we
should be.
add based on how much result we want from that, right. So with all of that being done, then the last step comes is to, okay, add it and to give a good cleansing of all of the whole colon, right.
Great. Thank you so much, Suresh, for sharing so many knowledge, so many new things basically about constitution, which I think I was also not aware about. So,
A pleasure is
in
all mine.
case anyone has any questions, feel free to share on the comment section. You can even share this live link with your family and friends who are experiencing constipation problem, and start implementing the proper approach towards curing the constipation instead of directly being dependent and depending on all these laxatives and all these different kind of enemas.
Cool. Thank you, Manisha, for being such a lovely host and giving me space to speak, because I was having a lot of stuff to present. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Suresh. Goodbye.
Okay, bye bye, guys.